What's up, Ripcity? Today, I was unable to, unfortunately, watch the Blazers game when they played the Golden State Warriors for the second time. I loved watching the first one, and I was able to watch the first quarter of this one, and I was thinking, man, they're tighter than it was. The Blazers didn't come up to as hot start as I thought they would, and I'm like, well, it's going to be a pretty tight game. Well, when I got back to look at it, it was not a tight game. It was not a blowout, I think, but I kind of disagree with some of the coaching decisions and the lineup rotations that they put in at the end of the game. Specifically with keeping Carmelo Anthony and Enes Kanter in the game. Now, I'm not saying that I don't like Carmelo Anthony or Enes Kanter. I love those two. I just don't think they should be played together as much as they are. I know that Coach Stotts likes to run with the second unit and the first unit, and the only two that really switch over is Dame and Gary Trent and CJ. And I don't mind that. However, I think that having two players that have that are weaker defensively in Enes Kanter and Carmelo Anthony, it can really mess up the flow of the defense because offense feeds off defense, in my opinion. But this video is going to be covering my opinion on Carmelo Anthony because I know that some of the Blazers community is fractured on what they think. Some people think that he's not good at all. I'm not like that. I think he's a good player and he's a valuable part of this Trailblazers team. However, I don't think that he is the second coming of LeBron James. I think that Carmelo Anthony is a different player. He needs to play his game in order to be super effective, in my opinion. The back down fadeaway shot, I love that shot for him. However, and he's a great offensive scorer, ISO scorer. When you need a bucket, he will get you a bucket. And I really think that the Blazers need that this year, especially with Dame and CJ. They won't have to shoulder the offensive load. Derrick Jones Jr., I think, could be a good scorer. However, I think they brought him in as a defensive-minded player, along with Robert Covington, who's a 3-and-D player. The thing with Carmelo Anthony, in my opinion, and I don't mean any offense to Mr. Carmelo Anthony or Enes Kanter, I just think that his style of offense really disrupts the offensive flow. And I'm not a fan. I've made it known that I'm not a fan of the drop scheme that the Blazers run or the high pick and roll that the Blazers run out of the offense. I think that they need to do more actual sets because if you just run high pick and roll every time or high pick and pop when they're trying to shoot the three more, which I'm not opposed to. I think he can be more of a Jokic type passing, shooting big man if he works on that part of his game a little bit more. However, the problem with that is that when you bring the big up and try and pick and roll with Dame and CJ is you're going to get a lot of traps. The thing with that is Carmelo likes to do either a spot up three in the corner or a back down on the post. You can't really run those out of a pick and roll. And the problem with that is that it stops the offensive movement. When you back down someone, it's hard to keep the offensive movement and your eyes up in order to pass. And I think that really comes into trouble with having Enes Kanter, who doesn't like to play outside of pretty much the restricted area on offense. And that's just the thing. I think that Carmelo Anthony is a great player, and it's nice to have him on the team. However, I don't think that he is the be-all, end-all for the Blazers this year. In my opinion, I think Rodney Hood, when he comes back healthy, and Derrick Jones Jr. as well as Robert Covington should get more minutes than Carmelo Anthony. And I mean, no disrespect to Carmelo Anthony. I think that he's a great player. Obviously, I've said that a couple times. But also, I think he's a little bit weak on defense, especially paired with Enes. I've commented on that a little bit before. But they're not the fastest. They're not fast-footed. Carmelo Anthony, you don't expect him to be. He's in his 18th year, one of the longest-playing players in the NBA. And you can see that in his scoring. He's 14th on the scoring rate, which he's a great scorer. He's always been a great scorer. And I think on his defense, he relied a lot on his athleticism and his ability to jump, which a long time ago, he was one of the best jumpers in the league, and he's in his 18th year, and he's still pretty springy for being in his 18th year, in my opinion, but he's not as quick, and he can get outpaced by a lot of the faster wings in the NBA. Also, when he paired with Enes Kanter, who's especially in the Blazers scheme, which is drop scheme in defense, when you're dropping Enes down when a screen gets set, players like Steph, Harden, and all the really good shooting guards, even Jamal Murray now, who's really starting to come on as of recently, especially in the bubble last year. When you come off that screen and you pull up and shoot, the big is going to have to step up, which causes rotations in the backcourt, whether that's the three guard or the three guards defender moving on to the post player, or the power forward who would be Carmelo dropping on down to the post. That's the problem with that, is he's not quick enough to get out back to his 3-point assignment, which is normally what these players do. I notice when they try and beat the Blazers drop scheme. The problem with that, I think that if you paired Carmelo Anthony with someone like Harry Giles, who is a little bit quicker on defense and a little bit more athletic than Enes Kanter, I think that would help a lot if you brought in that energy, the ability to cut and jump over people to dunk the ball or to back people out. And if you keep using Carmelo Anthony's strength as a back down artist and just being able to score whenever you want, it's great. But when you play Carmelo Anthony 30 minutes a game, 25 minutes a game, and you don't let Derrick Jones Jr. get his cutting and his rhythm and his defensive presence up, I just think that you can run into a lot of problems. So that's my opinion on Carmelo Anthony, a little bit of my opinion on the Blazers drop scheme and the offensive schemes, and a little bit on my opinion on Enes Kanter. I like all of these players. I don't mean to disrespect anybody. This is just my opinion. I don't mean to criticize Terry Stotts because, as I've said before, I'm a 19-year-old, and I'm just doing this for fun. So peace out. That's my opinion. See you guys in the next one.